Okay, so here's our spreadsheet solving assignment, and we go to our Google Chrome. Okay, and let's take a look. So in Google Chrome, we'd like to look at the sumif. So the sumif command is one in which you look at one range of cells and have a criterion, and you check if that's present in your first range, and then you'll add it up. So you're going to add them up. And so we'll see how we're going to use that in this week's spreadsheet. Okay, and so so the idea is that we're going to take our data here, and we're going to create this total pets for these different groups. We have 7th and 8th graders, male and female, pod A and pod B. Okay? And so I put titles here, and we'll look at the formula. Okay, so if we look at this formula, is, I don't know if we can get a little, zoom in a little bit. So if we zoom in a little bit, we see that our formula is going to be, we want to sum for the column C2 to C13, okay? So in here, we want to look here, and we need a match, and the match that we're looking for is C18, which is this cell, okay, C18. So we're, over here we say, go to column C and look for the string that's to the left of me, okay? So if we look at the, okay, so then what do we say? Then we're going to look at the corresponding place. So if we find in C2, 7, we're going to go over and look under number of siblings. Okay, so we're going to look in F. Okay. Oh, sorry, we're looking for pets. So we're going to look in G. Okay. So we're saying, look in this column. If we find a match on 7th, add what we find over here. Okay, and so then put them all together, and that will be how many pets are 7th graders. Okay, what about for 8th graders? So for 8th graders, we look at the same column here, okay, but this time we're going to look at what's to our left. Okay, so we say search for what's over here. Okay, so there, what is that? That's C19. So look for what's in C19, okay, and we're looking in the same column. So that gives us 7th and 8th. Okay. Okay, so now, what if we want to look and see how many pets the males have? So it's a similar formula, but this time, instead of looking in column C, we're going to look in column D. So we look in column D, and in column D, we're then going to, if we find male, what's to the left, so C20, then we're going to put in what we find in column G. And now you'll notice that we put a $ next to the 2 and the 3. That's so that I was able to pull this formula down, okay, and not have it add 1 to the starting. Okay, so it stays 2 to 13. That's what we're looking for the whole time. Okay, and so finally pod, if we look for pod, we're going to have to go to E. Okay, so now what can we do? Can we pull this? So let's try and see if we can pull our formula over to the right. Now notice how that didn't work to look for total siblings. So total siblings is in F. Okay, so 7th also, so that didn't work either. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to go back here and we're going to say, when we're looking for 7th, we want to also do a $C, and okay, so that we'll keep looking in C for 7th or 8th. Okay, so we'll keep doing that. But then this time, we're not going to look in G's. Okay, so we'll pull this over. Okay, and let's see what we've got. So now we looked in C. Oh, now you see how we're looking in D18. Okay, so we go back to this and we say, you know what? C18, we have to keep looking at C. Okay, so we're going to put our $sign there as well. Okay? So see what's happening is when we do that. So now let's see what happens. So we pull it over and it still doesn't work. Okay, so we're saying we're looking in column C for C18. But where are we looking? Okay, we're looking total siblings in H. So now we need total siblings in F. So we go over and we say, okay, we're here, but we're going to look in F. Okay, and now we find the total siblings for 7th graders. Okay, let's see what happens if we pull this down. Okay, so we pull it down, total siblings for 8th graders, is it just 2? Well, that might actually be correct, yeah. So let's see what our formula looks like here. So it says in C, look at C19, so we like that, that's looking for 8th. Right. And it's looking in the column F2, okay, so we like that. Now we're gonna look at male, female, okay? So if we pull down, okay, we say, well, we're not finding anybody, okay, but what do we need? Okay, so instead of looking at C, we want to look at D. Okay. And is C20 right? Yeah, that's right. So we're going to say we want to look at D. So D2 to D13. Okay, so number of siblings for the males. Okay, so we look at that and we say, does this look right? Well, now we're looking at column D. If we find a match on C20, which is male, we're going to look and add up what's in there. Okay, so this formula looks pretty good. Let's drag it down. So we drag it down and we say C21, we're looking now for female, D2, looking for male, female, and if we find it, then taking number of siblings. Okay, so now we're going to look at pod A or B. Okay, so when we come down, okay, we look and we're saying we're looking for pod A, but we have to look for that in E. Okay, so we're going to change from D to E. Okay, so we look and let's see how we're doing here. So now we say, look for pod A in column E, and if we find it, add up what's in column F. So that one probably will drag down. So we drag it down and we see pod B looking in E, C23 looking. All right, so that is what we're trying to do. So I'll give you the data up here and see if you can recreate this table. Okay, so if we do a Control A, nope, that didn't work. All right,